Scaling your business to new insane revenue levels doesn't have to be overwhelming. It's all about the right strategy, team, efficiencies, and confidence. Welcome to the Entrepreneur Evolution podcast. With over 1 million downloads, it's the go-to business podcast dedicated to business owners who want to evolve out of operating in the day-to-day and make their dreams come true. I'm your host, Annette Walter, and I'm so happy you are here. As a former banker, I have now been an entrepreneur for over 15 years and have started, grown, acquired, and sold over 20 multi-million dollar companies to date. Together, you and I will strengthen your existing business, build your dream team and process, grow your wealth and legacy, all while surrounding you with a community of rockstar entrepreneurs just like yourself. Are you ready to evolve? Let's get started. Hi there, and welcome to today's Entrepreneur Evolution podcast. I am really excited about today's guest. Before I introduce her, I want to wish all of you a wonderful Thanksgiving Day holiday. As I record this, we are dropping the Tuesday prior to Thanksgiving 2021, and I am so grateful for you. I'm so proud of you and your company and what you are growing, what you are doing, for being present. And I really hope you have time this week to regroup, to be present with your family and friends, and to just be proud of yourself, because the journey you are on, the evolution that you are on, is so rewarding, but it's not always easy. So you owe it to yourself to really make sure you are enjoying these precious moments, these precious times, because this is what it's all about. I am grateful for you. I'm grateful for our teams, our companies, and everything that we have going on, the impact that we are making for our clients, and all of the wonderful things. So thank you so much for being here. I also want to remind you, Black Friday, we are running a special for our Team Maker formula. And this is the most discounted we've ever offered this program. It's a 10-module program that walks you right through your next best hire in your organization, and actually how to set a hiring process if you don't have one already within your company. So make sure you check out the show notes, and trust me, it's amazing. You will love it. Whether you go through the actual course or someone on your team goes through the course, it is invaluable. So make sure you don't miss out on this deal. It's a good one. Today, I am joined by Snejina Zacharia, and she is the CEO and founder of Insurify. And the first thing that comes to my mind when I talk about Snejina and her company is disruption. She has taken insurance and really done it so differently. And it stemmed from a great story that she shares here on the podcast about a personal challenge in her life when she needed insurance and what that looked like to her. She most recently was recognized by the Women's Presidents Organization for fastest growing women-owned companies. And she has extensive experience in building and growing startups and Fortune 500 companies across the United States, Europe, and Asia. You are going to be so impressed by her and her story. She is generous, she is kind, she is tenacious, and I really hope you enjoy today's episode. I love hearing from you, and I am grateful for all of your remarks. Please make sure you rate this podcast as a 5-star. Hit the plus sign in the top right-hand corner of your app on Apple, and make sure you are subscribing so that every episode comes automatically to you. I drop an interview on Tuesdays and an express tip that's 5 minutes or less on Fridays. So enjoy this time. Again, sending you much love, much gratitude, and enjoy today's episode. Keep evolving, entrepreneur. I am so proud of you. Hi, Snejina. How are you?
Hi, Annette. Very nice to be with you today. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Thanks for being here. And I just want to quickly introduce you, Snejina Zacharia, owner and founder of Insurify, and most recently WPO's list of 50 fastest growing women companies in the United States. Oh my goodness, congratulations on that. That's huge.
Thank you. I feel very honored and humbled to be able to receive that award. And I feel this is a great recognition for everybody on the team who has worked so hard over the last few years to really get aligned around our common goal of making insurance a safer, more transparent, and easier place for so many millions of Americans.
Absolutely. And your story today is going to help our listeners, our audience, other entrepreneurs out there like you, just learn so much, but also the perspective of the tenacity of the journey, right? To keep on going. And the big wins really make all those small little wins and small little challenges really worth it. So I can only imagine what that moment was like for you, being there with 49 other amazing growth minded companies. And then not only that, the audience, right? So fun. Good for you.
Absolutely. Phenomenal. It's an amazing event.
So let's do this. You can start your story wherever you want to. Okay. Catch us up to speed. Give us a little bit about you and your, growing up and how you started on this path. And then I have so many questions about the company.
Absolutely. So I started a company while I was at MIT, finishing my MBA there. And before that, I had spent 7.5 years with the global research technology company, Gartner, where I was responsible for launching 3 different lines of business, the largest one being the supply chain operational strategy research group and business line for Europe, Middle East, and South Africa. So over the years, I basically hit the glass ceiling and I decided to apply to MIT. So I got in and I was super excited. And as it usually happens, MIT is the place where you want to dream and dream big and hope for changing the world and the future around you. And that's exactly what happened. So partly it was also a coincidence because I got into a minor accident that caused a spike in my insurance premium. I ended up looking for quotes online for 3.5 hours, talking to different agents, only to find out that all I had to do was triple my deductible and stay on my existing policy. So the moral of the story is that there is misalignment between the agent and the customer. And we wanted to change that. My agent didn't have a vested interest in giving me all the tips and advice of how to save on my insurance premium. And the experience was so broken and so discouraging and so time consuming and confusing that it got me excited into researching the space. And that's how Insurify was born.
Wow. So let's do a little date stamp here for the audience. What year was this? When were you at MIT?
Yeah, so I graduated in 2013, and our initial few years were actually really slow, painfully slow. I remember having so many days where I felt like I wanted to pull my hair because nothing was moving, and I would have hundreds of phone calls with insurance industry executives, and surprisingly, everybody was interested in hearing the story. MIT and Kayak, the 2 brands combined together, building the future of comparison shopping with predictive analytics and artificial intelligence. And then nobody would take the risk to be the first one to join the platform. So it was the chicken and an egg problem very much in the beginning. So it took us forever. It felt like forever to be able to get that first deal and the first contract. But we've done so much of a legwork in this first year of building out and expanding the relationships with carriers that once we got the first few in, then it just took it on its own journey. And I guess the rest is history.
Well, they say all it takes is one, right? The first one, right? With so many different things in life. And then as soon as you get that first one, it really just keeps on going. And sometimes the hardest one is the hardest, right? I mean, the first one is the hardest. So I want to rewind just a little bit because I know that the curiosity is out there of like, okay, you have this brilliant spark of an idea. And you just fast forwarded to like, okay, and then we had all these carriers. Tell me about that moment of your spark from idea. Who was like your first person on your team or that you surrounded yourself by? What did that look like?
I think that the founding team is extremely important part of every company story, or even if it's not the founders themselves, but also the first initial people that you want to attract on your team to join the company. And in my case, I was in a very, very fortunate position. My husband at that time was the CTO of Kayak, and now he's the president of Kayak. So having someone that has been directly exposed, but also driving a lot of the data science and machine learning innovation strategies from a product technology and marketing perspective in one of the most successful marketplaces in the world was instrumental in setting up the foundation for Insurify. So we were in a very fortunate position to not make many major mistakes in the very first few years, because we had a playbook that we wanted to follow, and when all we had to do is just adjust it as quickly as possible to the insurance industry. My second co-founder is Todd Kirazov, is one of the smartest people in the world I know, and he was introduced to me by another connection who I was trying to hire to join me as a CTO at the company. And Todd is an amazing compliment to me because he's extremely talented and very creative, with strong experience in behavior analytics and overall analytics and product development. And that created sort of perfect team almost from the very beginning, that was 100% aligned around the common goal and the mission of making insurance a better place for consumers and making it fairer and more transparent and simpler for everyone. I remember I was introduced to our head of engineering at that time through a connection. I was in a place where I was renting a couple of desks in a car-sharing space, and I met another person in the company that had just left TripAdvisor, and I was like, I'm looking for head of engineering. Do you know anybody good? And he's like, there is this guy, but he's really good. So he's basically underestimating me. He's like, I don't know if he will be willing to jump ship and join you. And then the rest is history.
Oh, wow.
I feel so much of it in the very beginning is about who you have behind you and how everyone is working together and how the team is aligned. Because in the beginning, you live in the everyday thread of a complete failure or a success, and you know that you're on that edge every single day, and just one wrong move can take you in a very wrong direction. But another key thing that I've learned, which I think benefited us significantly, is that not like a lot of other companies that raise venture capital money and they start to run through that money as quickly as possible. They raise another capital. We were extremely, extremely conservative of how we spend the investment dollars that we raised. So initially we raised $2 million round, and then we did another follow-up seed round of $4.5 million. And I remember at the time that we raised our first A round, which was about 23 million, we were making almost $1 million per employee. We had done so much with so little and such a small team.
Wow.
That was like during that round, I remember meeting with one of our now board member investors at a conference, and he's like, I just cannot believe it. I'm meeting, you have no idea how many companies are meeting that they want to build the world, but they have nothing to prove in terms of actual revenue. And here I talk to you with a tiny team making so much.
Wow.
So it was, I think it's a good lesson, because one of the number one reasons for companies failing is they run out of cash.
Right.
And if you're super conservative and super careful with not just your own funding, because usually people are careful with their own money, but then they raise external money and they think that they can sort of relax and just go be more aggressive and spend it. So there has to be a fair balance, especially in the beginning when the product is not tested. A lot of the strategies are not built out, to be conservative and to really be thoughtful with the investment you get, and really continue building for the long run with the longer objectives.
That's such great feedback and insight and perspective. So what would be your best advice when people are in that fundraising mode to companies? You know, where would they start? How would they kind of go about it? You know, with all of the emotion at play, you know, what would you say? What would be some pointers there?
Number one, get used to rejection and build a thick skin. You might get more no's than you will ever want it to get. Number two, take everybody's insight and adjust your pitch based on your insight, but also understand that majority of the people you will meet, including a lot of advisors or investors, they have a very limited view of whatever they've been exposed to, and they're looking for patterns. And some of the advice and the feedback is extremely valuable, and you should definitely listen. But some of the feedback can be completely irrelevant because it just comes from their limited point of view of what they've seen, what they have been used to. And number three, balance and make a choice and decide who are the right initial investors you want to get on your side in these very early days. And there are two playbooks. You can go for a top VC, and if you're very fortunate to be able to get an amazing top brand to be interested in you, that is absolutely phenomenal. And there is also the option to go and attract money from angel investors as well as from seed stage VCs. My personal preference is in the very early on, where the stakes are very high, but also the risks are even higher. There is an enormous benefit of attracting your first investors, either angel or seed stage investors, because the pressure of follow on is much lower. And I explain to you why. Like when I got into that first sharing space, taking a few desks to call our own office, there was this other company that had raised money, 2 million from 3 top brand VCs. And I remember being like, wow, these guys are amazing. They're killing it. Look, he has been able to attract the top venture capitalists from Boston and also San Francisco. And things didn't work out the way they hoped for. So the traction wasn't there as quickly. He wasn't able to grow the revenue as fast as all of these VCs were expecting. And then the next round comes, nobody wants to follow. So for me, this is the kiss of death. Because VCs are also very careful about signaling. And if your existing investors don't want to follow, that's a huge red flag. So it took 5 more years for that founder to be able to get the next follow-ons. And he went back to angel investors and strategic investors and so forth. So I guess my lesson of the story is that unless you know that you're going to kill it, the safer bet might be to try to attract angel investors as well as seed stage, because the risk of signaling from not follow through is not there, because majority of the angel investors are unlikely to follow because every rate will be much more expensive. The next round will be expensive. And the same goes for the seed stage.
Right.
Yeah. And then my next final piece is that it's all about networking. And for me, it was extremely hard to be able to get in front of these investors and venture capitalists, because I'm a first-time investor, first-time founder. So I didn't have that network. And you hope that you will get it from MIT, but I didn't quite get there. And I tried. It's not from lack of trying. Some of it comes with like where you went to school and who you know from your school that might be in some of those companies. But make sure you're building a good network and you're meeting with a lot of people that might be able to get these introductions. Because in my case, I was just trying to network with other founders and get introductions that way.
Right. Is that what you did? Is that how you kind of went about it?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
And I
Well,
was talking to some VCs, and at the end, one of the VCs introduced me to one of these angel groups, and that's how I got to raise our first round.
right. Now, do you have a hard time asking? Like, do you feel like, how do you normally position yourself? Or do you feel like you are just kind of ask and say, why not? What do I have to lose? Or do you go about it in a, I mean, I'm definitely way more personable and probably a little bit, I'd say a little bit more direct, but how do you feel your approach is in things?
There was no time to lose.
Uh-huh.
It was a question of survival. It's like
Okay.
you're either making it, so you basically whatever concerns you may have, you just get over it, and you, as I said earlier, you build a thick skin, and you send messages. In my case, I data mined LinkedIn. Literally, I upgraded my LinkedIn profile to whatever was the advanced version, and that gave me access to be able to send cold emails to more people. And I used in a big way the MIT brand to be able to get more doors open. But ultimately, what people invest in is like how convincing you would be in pitching your story and really building the vision. Investors care about investing in big markets. So if you have a big market and a big idea, it's super important. It's super important to also make sure you have a true problem that you're solving, because over the years I've advised some companies, and I'm looking to find the problem that they're trying to solve. And I'm like, are you sure this is just a problem that is in your head that you think people have, or is it a true problem that you're actually solving? So making sure you're focusing your effort on the true problems is extremely important. But there is no time in these early days when there is so much at stake, and you're constantly walking between a very quick failure and a longer success, to sort of be shy and not be aggressively acting or asking for that next meeting.
Wow. I mean, there's so much here. I just feel like we could like go on and talk for hours. Here's my question. Knowing what you know now, would you do it again?
Yes.
Absolutely.
If
right.
you had asked me in the first year,
right.
like, why am I doing this?
Right. Those days.
Now, yes, it is still, it's the hardest job that I have, and it's the most fun job that I have had, the most enjoyable. And I think the best part comes from the ability to be able to grow a team of exceptionally smart, very talented, very intellectually curious individuals that are also amazing and great at heart. And they're all aligned around that common vision of making insurance a better place and making an impact on millions of consumers. I think that's the best part. Obviously, there is always ups and downs and challenges, but just being part of knowing that you're creating a product or a company that can have such a massive impact on so many millions of consumers is really inspiring.
It's amazing. It is amazing. You are a pure rock star. The fact that you took an unfortunate situation in life and turned it around into this huge solution for many. The fact that we're talking right now about, the power of networks, not only through, your schools and different associations, but then through social networking too, and really using that and leveraging that, and knowing that it's a fine line. At any minute, you could go this way or that way, and time was of the essence. So I'm so proud of you, and I can only imagine how it feels and where you're going. So what are you looking forward to next in the company?
I think the most likely exit for us will be an IPO, which will be extremely exciting.
Awesome.
Obviously, there is always an opportunity for other strategic expansion. We are looking to make some key acquisitions in the next few years as well that will allow us to expand further into the verticals that we are building, but also expanding to new verticals. And then the focus for the new funding that we just closed, the 100 million round, would be to continue to work towards our embedded insurance offering. And that will allow for millions of consumers to be able to buy insurance from a click of a button directly from other brands, whether it is at the time they get a loan, or the time they buy their car, at the time they buy their insurance, their home, or any other event that might align with buying insurance. We are looking to build a massive brand and really be the destination platform for all types of insurance policies in the United States, and hopefully get to a point where people feel that Insurify is their most trusted virtual insurance agent in the industry.
It's great. It's fabulous. I mean, and the fact that technology is moving so quickly, and then it's allowing us as humans to move even faster, right? We keep on saying that time is just going so fast. Why is everything goes so quickly? It's because we really are moving quickly. When you can press a button and have, life insurance, maybe even decided for one day, right? Or disability insurance, or a whole life medical insurance plan for your company. Those things are painful and take forever. So I just love the vision. I love the vision. So what keeps you going? I won't keep you too much longer, but what keeps you going when you had those days where they were heavy days? Do you have a personal mantra that you go to, or a phrase or a quote that really pulled you through, or something that you just do or say?
I usually tell myself, you can get through it, you can do it. You can do it. Just don't listen to that voice in your head that says this is really bad, or the situation, whatever it might be. You just go through it, and that there has been so many other times that we've gone through so much, and we'll get through it. I try to sort of zoom out and see the situation. Like sometimes I just try to picture myself as, 65, 70-year-old, and say, hey, you really have to look at your life and see, was that worth it? And all that work, all that struggle. And I hope, when I get to that age, I can look back at my life and say, I had a really exciting time living, and I had made an impact on a lot of people. But also at the same time, keep in mind that the most important thing in life is your family and your kids, and making sure that you don't get so obsessed with work that you don't spend enough time with them, which for me is a constant reminder that I am also a mom, and that's the best title I would always have.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more with that. Tell me about your kids. How old are they?
They're 12 and 14.
Okay. And I'm right there with you, 9 and 11. And, it's the whole reason, right?
Yes.
It's the whole reason. Well, you are wonderful. You have given us so much, and your story is so powerful. You are only getting started. My goodness, this is phenomenal. Where can we find you, support you, encourage you, promote the company out there?
I've already been very fortunate member of the WPO organization, and I've found a lot of great insight from the chapter that I participate in. So I think that a lot of the things are already there. The strategy, the support network is already there. I am a big believer of female founders, and I think that it's extremely important to be able to have a safe network of friends or of colleagues that you meet with on a regular basis, and you look for advice and inspiration, and you also learn from, because there will always be questions that you would likely not be able to answer on your own, and being able to lean on a support network is extremely important. Absolutely. And able to do it within a female support network, I think it's even better.
It's so much fun. It makes it so that much more fun, right? And where can we find you? Where can we support you online?
So our website is insurify.com. If you're interested in providing feedback or just trying out the website to see how much you can save on your home, car, or life insurance, feel free to try it out. My email is snejina@insurify.com. So if you have any questions or any other ideas that I might be able to help with, feel free to message me and I'm happy to do a follow-up. But thank you so much for the opportunity.
You're amazing. Thank you so much. Congrats to you and your team. And we will talk to you soon. Thanks so much for being here, Snejina.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And I really appreciate your opportunity.
Wow. What an episode. Did you learn something new? I hope so. I am so happy you were able to be here with us today. I'd love to hear from you. Leave me a review and I will be sure to read it and respond to you. Also, if you'd like to email me, my email address is yourock@iEvolveConsulting.com. Hit subscribe, and every Tuesday you'll get notification when the next episode drops. We really have some amazing interviews and tips in the future. Anything you need, I'm here for you. I want you to keep your momentum. I want to help you stay accountable. I want you to stay inspired. I want you to evolve. So please let me know what you need, and I'd love to hear from you. Take care until next time.